Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, Facebook. This is Samia Bingham, founder and CEO of Flavors Culinary Group, better known as Flavors of Prince George's County, Maryland. And tonight we are coming to you live and in charge for our first session of Kitchen Conversations After Dark. Kitchen Conversations After Dark is essentially a pop-up Facebook Live podcast. We have a few things up our sleeves planned for this particular special. It follows our current crowdfunding campaign that we are currently in. So in just a second, you'll see the link that you can go and check out our campaign, which includes our intro video that shows about 5 of our current Flavors members out of the 45 that we are blessed to be serving currently, all culinary entrepreneurs from Prince George's County, Maryland. And we are super, super excited tonight to make this happen. Just a little bit about, before we really get into things, just a little bit about Flavors. Flavors is a boutique food and beverage technology solutions firm based in Prince George's County, Maryland, born and raised, specializing in culinary spaces and concepts in support of government, corporate, and retail clients. With the focus on changing the way our culinary creatives can create, cook, and serve, Flavors is expanding and elevating accessibility to food and beverage entrepreneurs by providing creative workspaces for our culinary creatives to serve government, corporate, retail, and residential communities. By providing access to food and beverage entrepreneurs who provide healthier alternatives, let me say that again. By providing access to food and beverage entrepreneurs who provide healthier alternatives where food insecurities and an overabundance of corporate fast food chains exist, our innovative approach utilizes advances in technology to meet Flavors' central mission to improve access and availability to the end user through development of our clients' food service programs and specialty food and beverage models. That's a whole lot of words, Facebook, but we're going to break that down. 2019, Flavors expanded our operations by investing into our culinary community of chefs and caterers by launching a shared commercial kitchen complex and workspace concept. The expansion will provide state-of-the-art commercial kitchen space, cold, dry, and freezer storage, demo kitchen space, meeting rooms, and a community of amazing culinary professionals based right here in the DMV region, Maryland, DC, and Virginia. Stand up. Flavors is a member-based community only. Uncle Joe, Aunt Tina, Aunt Sue, we love you. But Flavors is strictly a member-based community, which will provide resources to our culinary members who will serve the local, state, and federal government, corporate, and residential communities through virtual and ghost kitchen operations, while also accessing opportunities in retail through specialty concepts and the consumer packaged goods market. We are so, so excited for you to join us this evening. And our first guest, coming straight from 202 by way of New York, is the one and only, we call Mr. Bake, Chef Kareem. But before we bring on Chef Kareem, we got a little video that we want to share with you, just to give him a little intro, because the first night's guest, you got to take care of your first night's guest. So here we go. Just a quick 1-minute video, and we'll come back, bring Mr. Bake on, and we'll get right into the show.
I started with my love of sweets at 5 years old. I remember asking my mom to make my first cake. Of course, it was out of the box. My mom was not a baker. I started to bring the cakes and desserts to family functions, and then went on to go to culinary school and graduate. What excites me about Flavors really is the owners. When Samia and I came together to talk about what she was bringing to the Prince George's community, she said, I want you to be involved with the baking department and making sure that when I bring on anybody who works in the culinary field or the baking and pastry field, that I am creating a system that can be run efficiently and effectively to get the work done. I am working right now out of a small space, going into Flavors, which is in Prince George's. This is where I already bake at. It's just amazing. I will be able to get more clientele, do more work, and Flavors will help the Mr. Bake brand expand tremendously.
Okay. Are you ready? Are you ready, Facebook? Later on, Instagram. Are you ready, YouTube? Are you ready? We're going to bring on Mr. Bake in just 1 second. Hello.
Hey,
how are you?
Dope. I appreciate it. That intro got me blushing and joy. You know, I got this ring light on me trying to make me look like something, and you got me blushing.
Well, welcome to our inaugural episode of Conversations After Dark. It's about 7:15 p.m. We are traveling up the Beltway. We are coming off of 202, and we are coming to Mr. Bake live.
Come on, what's going on? Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Oh, you are so welcome. Thank you for joining us. So just want to let you give your intro. You deserve to introduce yourself and your company. So you already know how this goes. We're going to first ask you, Mr. Bake, what's your flavor?
I am a chilled, relaxed, butter pecan, Rican kind of person, okay? So if you're looking for me, sound a little sweet, but not too sweet, with a little bit of salty on top.
Yes. Well, Mr. Bake, I'm going to let you introduce yourself, and then we'll get right into my questions tonight.
All right. Of course, like she said, my name is Kareem, but I go by Mr. Bake. I am located here in the Prince George's Largo area of Maryland. I am originally from New York City, Harlem, New York. So any of my New Yorkers or tri-state areas, big ups. I've been in the DC area for 10 years now, and I own and operate Mr. Bake Sweets, which is a custom cake and dessert company. And I've also premiered on and won food competitions on television, so Food Network and Discovery.
Awesome. That's big. So in that, just going right into the questions. So describe what brought you to your culinary craft.
What brought me to the culinary craft? My love of sweets. Like, that was my first thing as a child. My family always used to get together, like the intro said, you know what I mean? Like, falling in love with a sliced cake. That was really it. Like, we used to have cakes and pies, but really my first love was cake. Like, I love it. I still do to this day. Love a classic vanilla cake with chocolate filling and frosting. Still love classic.
Yes. So talking about those cakes, and I've had your desserts. Freaking amazing. So tell me, why do your customers hire you?
I would like to say that my customers hire me for the consistency of the product. So word of mouth is really big in my brand. That's obviously that's the biggest thing in a lot of food industry or any brands. Like, word of mouth is still the largest form of marketing. So people definitely say, yo, it's always good. It not only is good, but it looks good. People always say this, you know how you get the cakes that they look good, but they don't never really taste good? And they go, your cake, it look good and it tastes good too. So I can appreciate that. And I can appreciate that. Like, so that's one of the things I think that people consistently come back to me for, is because of the consistency with the flavor of the product.
So consistency is important, because sometimes, we'll go to a restaurant, and for me, like, I am very particular. So if I find a breakfast food, or, especially, when we were in the office, we missed the office, but whenever we were in the office, if you find a local spot that you go to, I'm very committed. So, get my, very specific Chipotle bowl, because I know each and every time it's
You're
going to
going to
take
get what you pay for.
absolutely, absolutely.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
that is absolutely important.
Yep.
So right now, Mr. Bake, we know that we're in this pandemic. And so competing with, and not necessarily competing, I hate the word competing, but when you can go to, let's say, the grocery store and pick up cupcakes or desserts, or you can go to your favorite restaurant, which, we definitely want to talk about the restaurants that your baked goods are in the DMV. So we'll get to that later. But how do you put yourself into your customer's mind so that they're coming to you and not going to the grocery store to pick up some cupcakes or Sam's Club to get that big country sheet cake that people love to go grab?
Oh, baby, they love that they love that sheet cake. They do. So two things. One, the pandemic, I call it the Twilight Zone, because sometimes I just feel like I'm walking on my hands upside down. So it's very the Twilight Zone for me. If you need to take that, go ahead. What I do is, number one, customer service. You know what I mean? So from the start of the transaction to the end of the transaction, we want to make sure we keep the customer in mind, while also still holding true to our key values, because I do believe that every brand has or should have key values that you should always uphold at any form, because that also tells you what you are standing for and what you're allowed to happen for you. Because if you don't have any, then you'll just take anything and do anything.
Okay.
So number one, when people, that's number one. Number two, people come to me because it's a luxury or a thing to pay. Sometimes the price point they would pay for a custom cake, because I understand you could go to the Giant and get a quarter sheet for $5.99 or $7, however much it costs. When you come to me, you're definitely going to be looking to pay $75 and over for a cake, which to me is cheap. You know what I mean, or affordable, I should say. To me, it's affordable. So you coming to me to treat yourself. You're getting great quality of work. We bake everything ourselves. So 95% of everything that we make in-house. So you're coming for that. You're coming because you know what's in the product. You're coming because this is somebody you trust to provide a service for you, and you know that I am going to deliver on that promise. Like you just said recently, you have a neighborhood restaurant or a neighborhood coffee shop. What are you going to do? You're always going to go to that coffee shop. And when you feel that you've stepped out of the coffee shop, you feel like you cheated. You go back and you go, oh, I'm so sorry I cheated on you. And then you start confessing your love to the barista, who really doesn't care that you didn't, like they care, right? They care.
Right.
The barista cares, but she's like, I mean, girl, you stepped out that one time. I'm here.
Yeah.
Come on back home. So that's really what it is. I started this business with community in mind. You know what I mean? With leaving that great taste of product and experience at the end of each meal or celebration. And then I was able to then travel with you through generations and generations. If I'm doing your daughter, from your daughter's baby shower to all the way up to her 16th birthday cake. To me, that's beautiful. That's what we do. Creating memories.
Memories and community, two very important things in our community, especially, and you're going to get that from the culinary community. So we kind of touched on the pandemic. So how has the pandemic affected you? This is important, for our DMV watchers. One of the biggest reasons that we wanted to do this Kitchen Conversations After Dark is this is another means for our community to get to know the local culinary professionals that are right here in the DMV region. Black owned, brown owned, all hues that are members of Flavors. So how has the pandemic affected you, and how can the DMV continue to support Mr. Bake Sweets?
First of all, thank you for even saying that beforehand, because during the pandemic, obviously, America is being exposed to the rest of America and the rest of the world for who she truly is and who she truly has been for so many years. And we already know that we are beautiful. A lot of us do, and we have talented chefs here in the DMV area that don't never get the shine that they should. And I'm saying a lot of people, we don't never want the shine, but no, we do want someone to say, I love what you do. Your food makes me feel good. And because it makes me feel good, I want to then in return do something that hope it makes you feel good. You know what I mean? Kindness of a heart, kind actions. And I said all of that because we don't get the shine. We don't get the write-ups. We're not on the front pages of a lot of magazines and things like that. So I appreciate you saying that and bringing light to that. And hopefully people are understanding that through this pandemic. Now to your question of how's the pandemic been for me? I mean, come on. I just called it the Twilight Zone. I don't know if I'm coming or going. You know what I mean? So the pandemic definitely, I think I'm in a place where I can talk about it in stages because, you know, we had the initial, boom, COVID hit, lockdown, everything flipped, switched, da-da-da-da-da. So, you know, I had that original layer of what the F, you know, like how long is this going to last? Is this really a joke? You know what I mean? All right, we might be out for like 2-3 months. I'll be able to bounce back. So at first I was like, all right, you know, I get to sit down, I get to relax, you know, because I had just had my Food Network premieres come out in February. We were still running on the high from my 2018 premiere of that show. So, you know, we were picking up. The brand was picking up. We were doing things. You know, we were definitely looking to transition into the Flavors Kitchen by this time, or, you know, into the fall. You know, we had a plan. We talked about all of this.
Yes.
So it halted all of that. And originally what I first said was, what first kicked in my head was, I get to relax. I get to sit down. I didn't even worry about like the money at the moment because I told you I didn't think this was going to last too long. So I said, oh, I get to relax. Okay, this is great. I get to breathe because, you know, as creators in American society, just not even just creators, in American society, we do this. We continue to keep going and going and going and going and going. So it was literally the world saying, stop. So I had the time to breathe. You know, then when they said we're only doing curbside and deliveries, what did I do? I switched my menu up. I switched my format. I pivoted really quickly within the 2 weeks. And we started offering curbside and delivery for weekly menus. So I would change a menu up and I would offer, because I do a lot of, pre-COVID, I did a lot of bigger events, corporate events, bigger parties. So you would have to buy my stuff, like miniature stuff, at a large amount, like at least 24. So a regular consumer who's like, I just want a slice of cheesecake, I'm not the place to come to because we don't have a brick and mortar. You know, we make everything out of a shop and out of a kitchen, and then we deliver it or you pick it up. So that gave people an opportunity to try the product. So that was perfect. So we started doing weekly menus. People started catching on. We promoted that through our 800 plus emails, our 9,000 plus followers on social media, and just started pushing that and started creating business from that. Then when people started feeling a little bit comfortable with the whole 10 people parties, they started offering cakes. So then we had segments. So I did that whole curbside delivery for about 2 to 3 months. And then I pivoted back into small cakes and back in like June, because people started celebrating. It started getting warmer and things like that. And now we're at doing just events. I don't have to do the weekly menus anymore. But also in COVID, I know I'm going to talk a lot, but I also want to tell people that it was stages I went through. And then in those stages, I also did overwhelm myself. You know what I mean? By working really hard. I did say I have a time to relax, but my body relaxed, but my mind never did. So I was stressing my body out because I was overthinking. You know, how am I get this money? Now I started thinking, how am I start getting money? How are we going to continue to keep the business afloat? But then luckily I had already positioned myself in 2018, 2019, where all of those grants, all of those loans, all of the webinars, all of those free classes, all of that stuff started pouring in. Guess what? I
Mm.
was on the front line. I signed up to everything. He was
You
giving
were
out free
ready.
money. I clicked on. I stopped what I was doing, watching a movie, because I wasn't doing anything anyway, and said, let me go to my computer and apply for this loan real quick. You know what I mean? It took me 30 minutes, but I did it. You know, let me stop baking or whatever I was doing and apply for this. This Hennessy was doing something, giving out money. You know what I mean? So why not? And then during the pandemic, you know, we had the whole 2020 revolution. Black Lives Matter came. So when we had that happen, that's really where the increase in business came from.
Ah.
Everybody started pouring back into their community or back into the Black community, because the white America started
Mm-hmm.
seeing what we've been talking about for so many decades. You know what I
Mm.
mean? They thought we were just complaining. No, we are
Yeah.
talking about factual things that we are trying to get over, but we can't. So that really showed the influx in sales, in business, and then also brought a lot of people to come into the brand. Like, who is this Black man doing things? Like, oh
Mm-hmm.
shoot, you know what I mean? There's some things coming out later on this year and next year that is the result, I think, from the pandemic and me getting write-ups and stuff like that. So yeah, it's been great.
I love it. There are two things that I want to point out that you said. The first was that you were prepared when it came time to apply for those grants, those loans, or those pitch competitions. That is very, very important in our community as being entrepreneurs. A lot of times we're going, and we are not taking care of the business that is going to literally pay us. You got
Yes,
to have a
yes,
CPA. You got to have a bookkeeper. Your
yeah,
taxes have to be on point. You have to
yeah.
be a registered business in the state that you want to do business in. You
Yes.
can
Oh my God. No,
you
see,
can
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Can I
operate.
tell people? So I've
Yeah.
had an LLC. Okay, guys, I'm a college graduate. A culinary grad. I went to culinary school, graduated with my associate's in culinary, bachelor's in hospitality management. So we took business classes, right? But I'm a passion-driven person. So
Yes.
running this passion. Running. 7 years I've been doing my business LLC for 7 years. Do you know last year we were going to do some major changes? As you know, I was talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
And last year is when we got everything in together. I paid Maryland so much money to get
To
my
clean
stuff
it up.
in to get everything current.
Yes.
So we didn't know. None of us, obviously, nobody knew Corona. Well, none of us regular civilian people knew COVID-19 was about to hit and do the
Yeah.
devastation that it's doing right now to the hospitality industry and all over the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I just thank God and just say thank you for putting people in my way to help me along the way, if I had to
Yeah.
pay for them or not. Thank you so much for the little bit of work that I took, like, because I did my own books. You know what I mean? Because
Mm-hmm.
another thing that I always tell people is, I'm passionate, but if you're in a craft that you didn't go to school for, and you don't have to go to school for all your crafts that we are in or any business
Mm-hmm.
that we are in, right? And I say craft is because we do things either with our hands or with our minds. So I'm not belittling anybody's business.
Yeah.
So when you have a craft or a talent, you have to go work. I worked under other people
Mm.
on their money. So I took
Yeah.
all of that and I was able to put that in my business too. I know we didn't ask you this question, but because people are going to ask, how did you have the foresight to even have your own books? I don't even know what that
Yeah.
looks like. Baby, that's quick Excel sheets. That's
Yep.
input going in out or going out. That's literally a sales tracker sheet.
Mm-hmm.
Every day, however you do your orders. So me, I do nothing but custom orders. So it was very easy to follow that. You know, every month or every week, I would have, let's say in the beginning of my business inception, 4 orders. So those 4 orders was cupcakes, $24. That's the price they were at the time. Cakes is $60. So I just kept those books. I kept all the receipts that deal with the business.
Mm-hmm.
I made
Yep.
an expense report. Where did it go? I told my accountant friend, I said, I want you to create a basic Excel sheet because I ain't got no money to pay you right now. So
Mm-hmm.
give me a basic Excel because I don't know Excel. I needed to do this and this right now to where I get to better. That's all you need. You don't need a whole bunch. And now we have apps. Before, there wasn't all of these apps
Everything.
and all of that. So now you
Yes.
have apps to do all the things you want to do. So
Mm-hmm.
before, I was typing everything on a computer. I still kind of do that to this day. On top
Yeah.
of my own books that are going. It's just I guess it's just by habit. I keep my own books still. You know.
Yeah. But just being ready. You know, I get so many people that reach out to me. I want to start a business, or to me, I have been operating a business, but I've been operating for 5 years. I have no books. Maryland, DC, Virginia doesn't know that I exist or I operate. But can you tell me how to go about getting some of these COVID loans? You can't. Real
Yeah,
simple.
like yeah.
You can't. You can't.
Cannot.
Just take this time to get your stuff in order. So to my entrepreneurs out there, you know, if you need help, as quick as it is for you to go and stream, you know, look at Instagram and Facebook and all the other social media pages, it is that easy for you to go on YouTube University, Google University, and figure out how to get your business registered. So I just wanted to.
Also, I'm sorry to cut you off. So those
okay.
people that you follow and like, hopefully they're business owners, ask them questions.
Absolutely. I get plenty of DMs is everybody's in my DM. Can you help me? And I will send you for free to the link. It's, you know, in Maryland, it's $196 if you're doing it online. $196 for you to be a legit Maryland-based business. You know, DC, Virginia, all the other areas that may be watching. Yeah, different rates, but Maryland, $196, certified documents. You'll be registered within days.
And the shade is, I did my stuff through LegalZoom.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah, and you can do LegalZoom, you can do an attorney, or you can do it for free on your own, because that's how I taught myself in 2014 when I got in business. I just sat down a weekend, figured it out. You know, when they rejected it the first couple of times, I was like, okay, well, I guess that wasn't right. Let me try it again. But I kept on doing it. But guess what? I didn't lose my money. And eventually it got through. And then I started helping other people do it. So Prince George's County, DMV, entrepreneurs, get your stuff straight so that you can get access to these loans, these grants, these pitch competitions. They want tax returns. They want, you know, financials. They want balance sheets. They want P&Ls. Like, get your stuff straight. It's not that difficult. Another thing, Mr. Jake, I wanted to talk about is you mentioned Black Lives Matter. This is super, super important, specifically to Flavor's mission to elevate Black and Brown culinary entrepreneurs. Can you just share, you know, and maybe an experience? How has it been for you being a Black man in the culinary industry, coming from formal kitchens, coming from the formal, you know, formal culinary education? How has it been for you being a Black man in the culinary industry?
It hasn't always been good. It hasn't always been pretty. Even from people who look like us. Mm-hmm. You know, that's being very honest. But I'm such an optimistic person. I'm such a goal-driven person. I've always knew what I wanted to do since I was a kid. So I'm fortunate for that. A lot of people don't know or didn't know. So I say those things beforehand because those are the things that drove me past the nose. That drove me past the closed doors in my face. People stole from me, my own people. Wow. Our own people have stole from me. You know what I mean? I'm talking about recipes. I'm talking about financial money. I'm paying you to do a service for me, contract or not, or whatever. Especially in the younger inception of the business time. You know, putting things out there. You're asking for friends. Oh, you do this, do that. So it hasn't always been easy. I'm like, even when I wanted to intern and work at places when I was young, that's the reason why I came to DC, because I went to almost every custom. I wanted to learn how to do fondant cake and tiered cakes. Mm-hmm. And I said the only way I knew to learn was the way I learned best is visual, seeing with somebody, asking them questions. YouTube was not popping then. We didn't have all of the things we have now. Yeah. So I went out and I did what you do now. You go on ADMs, I pulled up to your door. I am the legit pull-upper. So I pulled up to your door. I emailed you. I called you. Like, that's what I did. If I really wanted to learn something from you, that's what I did. If you said no or you didn't answer, I would go on to the next person. A lot of people said no and never got back to me. But because I had a fire inside, I wasn't allowing that. I wasn't allowing these people to throw sand or water on my fire because it burned that bright. It burned that fiercely. You know what I mean? And now, you know, at the small platform that I do have, I'm over here encouraging other Black and Brown chefs and Black and Brown LGBTQ chefs. You know what I mean? That come and talk to me because I've been on television. 2 times. They talked to me about how was that experience during a competition. A lot of people are overwhelmed. So what we do is we create, because we create fear. So we put the fear in our hearts to not let us to go to those accomplishments or go do that. So I break down those barriers and let them know, like, bro or man, like, whoever this is, you got this, chef. Like, believe in yourself. And that's one of my missions now, is to push the envelope and show more representation and diversity when it comes to primetime cooking shows for Black and brown, queer, or LGBT plus open people. There's nobody up there that we can identify with. I've been a young kid watching the Food Network since Imbu Lagasse was doing BAM. When Imbu Lagasse started BAM, I was watching that. I saw that happen. You know what I mean? So that was my first thing, visual professional chefs on television. So we need to see us, because in order to see ourselves there, we also got to see somebody else doing it too, to feel comfortable.
That looks like us, that's beating the odds, that's out there beating the pavement and just getting it done and not being afraid of that.
You can't be afraid. Let me tell you something. When you believe in something and you really want something, the brain is going to create ways to make it happen. You just need to let it happen. You need to let it happen. The universe and God is whoever you believe in, whoever you pray to, whoever in your walk of life, that is going to bring it to you. When that fire burns inside, it don't matter what them knows and what them closed doors. Yes, that's discouraged. It's discouraging. Yes, rejection is hard. Yes, we understand that. But all of those things, all it does is build you up for a better person. And guess what? One closed door definitely just means that wasn't the person, the partnership, or the people you needed to work with.
Yes, and got to keep it pushing and find them. When I got into Mr. Baker, so I did not have a background in culinary. So my background is in government contracts and real estate.
Oh, I know.
Very different worlds. But with my husband wanting to get into the culinary industry, that's where we brought those two loves together. My mother being in the kitchen for 20 plus years, even with torn meniscus knees, she's still in those kitchens in Prince George's County Elementary School. So I want to shout out my mother, Donna Branford, who I love dearly, and who brought first that passion into the kitchen to show me no matter what, she's going to feed the kids, she's going to feed the adults when she was working in government cafeterias. And so bringing those two worlds together, I was very afraid to come into this industry because I was like, I don't want to portray myself as a chef. That is not my lane. That's Chris's lane. That's not Samia's lane. But what I do know is I have a fire in me about business. I'm a beast at business. And then we're going to get things and we're going to bring these opportunities to our chefs that they may not have access to them, but I have the brains to do so. So being afraid, I know what that feels like. And I just want to encourage anyone out there that you may feel like, imposter syndrome creeps up all the time. I've gotten told no multiple times, but guess what? We are still pushing forward for this building, for these investors, for this money, for this crowdfunding campaign. We're raising our $50,000 for to get our major commercial freezer walk-in. So we cannot be afraid to say yes to what God is asking us to do, to go and do his work. So thank you so much for that. And I know, Mr. Baker, we are getting ready to wrap up, but I'm going to ask.
No, you good. I want to say something. No,
okay.
You're good. I actually want to pinpoint and just say something about your beautiful spirit, if I can. And I know you got to go, we can go.
No, we're fine.
I loved how when we met last year, the one thing that you did was that I appreciate is you first of all, you're so warm and inviting. If everybody never met you, you're such a warm and inviting spirit. So please don't ever be discouraged to continue to shine that light. Okay, even when you give it to people who don't deserve it. Or ungrateful, I should say. But you came to me and you said, hey, I'm creating this. This is what I want to do. And I need help. And I say that because we are so afraid sometimes to ask for a lending hand. You was like, yo, you've been doing this for a while, Mr. Bay, Kareem. I want you to help out with structuring and the flow of how the pastry room should go. This is what I'm thinking. What do you think? What did you dislike about the previous kitchens that you visited or worked under or worked with and stuff like that. And I love that you listened to the community that you were building something for. So it wasn't just you and Chris's idea. It was, it's our idea, but it's literally weaving of all the chefs that I had helped me create this, the chefs that I've encountered, the kitchens I've seen. So you're bringing all of that into the Flavors Next Chapter and to this kitchen space. So that's another thing I want people who are just thinking about what you're bringing to the world is not just a your brand or you and Chris thing. It's a you and Chris thing with everybody truly in mind. Truly. And I'm not saying that the bigger up, she ain't giving no money for this. This is truly how you presented yourself to me. And I appreciate that.
No, I thank you so much. I definitely thank you. There was no way that we were going to do this without input from the chefs. So, from shout outs, of course, Mr. Bake in the pastry kitchen, Sweet Basil, Chef Karita, Chef Anthony Thomas for the savory kitchen. So we enlisted chefs to figure out, does this flow work? We had a previous concept that we all sat in the room and we said, hey, that ain't gonna work. We gotta fix this. We gotta tweak this. We need more storage. We need some outside room. So I definitely appreciate you for that. So in that same vein, why do you need a commercial kitchen?
Well, I mean, obviously to scale up, you know what I mean? With the commercial kitchen, especially if anybody's a home baker or home cook, you start getting looked at more seriously, more professionally. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, you're operating out of here. And it's like, yeah, it's the same product. You know what I mean? It's the same aesthetic, same tenacity, but it's a visual thing for people. So that's number one. Number two, you can only do so much with confined space, you know what I mean? And it's time for the brand to grow, you know what I mean? I've been baking and doing what I've been doing now for over 20 years, and I'm only 33, about to be 34 years old, you know what I mean? So it's like, how long am I going to be doing what I'm doing in this confined space? It's about time. And then also, as you know, during the pandemic and during these times, we are blessed to not only get one partnership, with two partnerships with two Black-owned businesses.
That's a pause break, because we want to make sure they hear you when you tell them where they can find your sweets.
So we have two partnerships with two Black-owned businesses here in the DMV area. One is in Washington, D.C. It's a Black-owned ice cream shop called Here's the Scoop. That is right up on Georgia Avenue, right across from from Howard University. Shout out to everybody who went to HU. So then again, that serves, Here's the Scoop, is a Black-owned ice cream shop. We have sliced cakes in there, red velvet, our award-winning sweet potato cake, carrot cake, our hummingbird cake. We're going to be introducing pies come this fall, and our famous banana pudding soup. So Here's the Scoop. Washington, D.C. Then the next location is Kitchen Cray, who is a DMV favorite. For those who know him, in that brand. So Kitchen Cray right now has their one location in Lanham, Maryland, where we make all of the banana pudding for that location. That's us. And then they're soon to open 8th Street location. We will also take on that contract as well. So yeah.
Congratulations. That is big. That is big. Shout out to Chef JR over at Kitchen Cray. We appreciate you. We gotta support each other. Flavors is big on collaboration. If you're a savory chef, partner with a pastry chef or a dessert artist. We don't have to do it all. We're going to talk later this week with Chef Atoy and Sincerely Wilma, Chef Tamara from Sincerely Wilma, about her cake batter or her pancake batter and how Chef Atoy uses that in her brunches. So collaboration is big. We do not have to do it all. We do not have to do it all.
You do not. Yes. And that was one of the things that I said to myself during the pandemic, during like the summertime of everything. I was like, you know what? I'm doing this weekly menu. These are great. But it would be better if I was pairing this with a chef. Because when I think about it, like when I think about how I'm consuming food, so I know how other people are doing it, is I'm going to go to a chef and buy a meal. If I
Mm-hmm.
know another brand or another chef that I rock with is collab and has banana pudding or one of their signature items, guess what? I might be going for the signature dessert, but then I'm going to get a meal in it. Like, that's just crazy. I might as well get the fried chicken dinner you got up there, you know what I mean,
Exactly.
for $16.95 and just go ahead and add that slice of cake up there. You might as well
Yeah.
just go ahead and add it, you know what I mean? Like, go ahead and make it a whole meal, because I think about it. I'm coming to a Black business. I want to support the Black businesses, especially during this time. It's two Black brands together. Oh,
Yes.
yeah. Why not?
Yeah. I love it.
Like, yeah, so why not?
Yes.
We
Yes.
have to stop all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Collaboration, figure out a medium. You know what I mean? Some people, if you got new brands, don't be trying to go to an established brand hitting these high numbers. You need to go to an established brand saying, how about this? Position yourself like this. I want to come in at no cost to you. I front up all the product, the packaging, and the cost. You just sell the product and put it on your thing. They may say, well, you know what? I want $1 off of each sale. If you sell it at $8, $1 ain't gonna kill you.
Yeah.
You're pricing your stuff correctly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You ain't got to do that. You ain't got to even do the wholesale. You can say, I'm coming to you and I'm going to do a good 20, 80%. You get this amount, I get that amount. I want the larger amount because I'm doing most of the work and bringing you the product. Negotiate.
That's it.
And bigger brands, you see a younger brand, reach down and touch them. And if you see them messing up and effing up on something, show them the way. You got an Excel sheet with a formula, give it to them.
Yeah. Don't go to Yelp and do a review or shout them out on social media because they messed up. Because when the Walmarts and the Gap and the Starbucks, when they mess up, guess what? You're still back there tomorrow spending your hard-earned money. You may have gone on social media and said something, maybe you did not. But reach back out and lift somebody up to help them make the better decisions. If I get bad service, I reach out to the business owner and I let them know, hey, this is how I can see you can do better. Now, if they don't take that advice, that's totally on them, and I'm totally fine with that. But I've done my due diligence as an entrepreneur and as a Black woman, and I reached out to another business owner to help them elevate themselves. Elevation is my 2020 motto. Elevate. And so we got to help each other elevate. And in that, we help each other grow and become the big successful brands that we definitely deserve to be. One more. So why should the community support Flavors and their mission to provide safe and health inspected commercial kitchen spaces for chefs like yourself?
Well, I mean, like I just said to you before, you are true. You're talking to something like you guys are truly the example of what you say. Like, we are building a community-based kitchen space, and you use the community to help you design and build the space.
Yes.
I don't think there's anything else that I should ask or say. You didn't go and say, this is what we want to do and this is what we're going to bring. No, you touched chefs that will be in the kitchen and say, hey, I want to lean on you to help me build something for you.
Absolutely.
That's what you said. And this is the other reason. That was the selfless reason right there. You're creating something. Yes, this is something you and Chris want. Yes, this is exactly, because you have to have a need for you to do it, right? But the bigger picture is the success of the people under you, the success of the people you bring in. You are creating a space to give Black and brown chefs a space that's functional for them, that's for them, and not a space that they can just come in. It's for them. Like, this space is for a chef, and because you are a minority-owned chef, definitely, you're opening the doors for everybody. But obviously, we have been underserved for far too long, and we have much more road to go. So yes, you can say you are serving us because we have been underserved.
Absolutely.
It's okay. And I want people to understand that. That's the number one reason we have been and continue to be. If you don't feel that way, I can't speak for the life and journey of you, but I definitely had 1,000 doors closed in my face just because of the color of my skin, or because I was a male, or because I was gay.
Yes.
3 different things I dealt with. You know what I mean? So that's the number one reason. You are building something for the community and you use the community. I know I said that in a long breath, but I want
No,
you to
it's
understand.
perfect. That was perfect. So as we head out, we want to know what is for dinner and dessert tonight.
Tonight, for real,
Yeah,
All
yes.
right. It's a salad, for real.
Okay.
With I make my own vinaigrette, so just so you know, if I did a little something. But
Okay.
it's a nice spring salad with tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, peppers, pumpkin seeds, shredded carrots. I might throw some blue cheese crumble on it because I do have some blue cheese in there.
Okay.
And dessert.
Yes.
So you know I be trying to watch my figure. But it's so funny. It is, but it's so funny you said that because I actually sampled out some brownies earlier that me and my
Whoa.
assistant ate. So I'm probably gonna add this with that Haagen-Dazs ice cream I have in the freezer.
Yes. Yes.
And
I
color
love
and
it.
color up to some Lovecraft Country because I didn't watch the last episode.
Oh, awesome. Well, Mr. Bake, we're gonna bid you farewell. We're gonna thank you so much for being on our inaugural episode. I am going to give you the floor for the last minute and just sell your services. Let people know how they can find you on all social media channels, your website, and how to hire you. Thank you so much, and I will see you soon. 1 second.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate it. Like she said, this is Mr. Bake, shouting out from the DMV area. You can catch me at MrBakesSweets.com, Mr. Bake Sweets on IG. And the website has all our other links. We are on YouTube at Baking with Mr. Bake. I started a YouTube cooking show last year. And then you will get our Instagram and all of the links to the previous shows that I've been on the Food Network as well. So thank you so much, and peace, and take care of each other.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bake. I will see you soon.
All right.
Bye-bye. Well, DMV, Facebook, we want to thank you so much for tuning in to our first episode of Kitchen Conversations After Dark. Before you head out, I just want to thank you for joining us, of course. And I want you to know that we would love for you to head over to our campaign located at ifundwomen.com/projects/flavors and choose a tasty reward to donate to our commercial kitchen build out project. You can give as low as $1 and as much as you'd like. There are several different rewards that you can purchase to help support the purchase of our commercial kitchen or our commercial freezer walk-in. And we so appreciate any support that you can provide us. This campaign will run through 11:30. There will be some treats, along this journey, but please go today to, and I believe the link is below in the chat box. It's ifundwomen.com/projects/flavors and give what you can. Thank you so much. And we will see you again, I believe, tomorrow. I believe we may have a session tomorrow, but you'll see it. Follow us on Instagram at Flavors Nation, and you'll get the updates on when our next session will be. I believe we have one tomorrow, and also Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and we'll be here at 7 p.m. It'll always be on Facebook Live, my personal page, Samia Bingham, the company Flavors Nation Facebook page, our Founders Lounge Facebook group. This is streaming live in. And so you can find us wherever, and we're going to figure out a way to get this uploaded to Instagram, since Instagram didn't want to play friendly and stream with us together, but we'll make it happen. But thank you guys again for joining us, and we will see you again tomorrow. Follow us on Instagram to see who our next guest chef will be, and you will ride this journey with us over the next couple of weeks, meeting all current 45 members of Flavors and growing. So we have a bunch of pending applications. So we never know when we'll be able to give the announcement that, we're now at 50 members. We're now at 55. We have multiple pending applications. So good night, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Kitchen Conversations After Dark. And that ends our night. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.